I'm Peg Gagnon. I'm the executive director of Bridge for Community Life. It wouldn't be without the First Presbyterian Church at 1901 Vine Street that we would be here, because you were our shelter for the first several years when we were just a fledgling nonprofit wanting to serve those with disabilities in our community. One thing I have found that's been an interesting revelation is that the losses and the effects of the losses on people with disabilities are probably the same for people without disabilities. So it's one area where we can find a lot of congruence and unity, no matter what your ability is. It's just everyone's will have a different ability to cope with the difficulty, and everyone, depending on their age and health, has a different impact, could have a different impact if they should contract COVID. But I will speak from, today I'll speak directly from our experience, from the client's viewpoint and the staff's viewpoint. I'd say the loss for our clients is really threefold, and it's also the same for the staff as well. Of course, there's the loss of face-to-face interaction. I mean, there's also a big loss of routine and structure. It's very disorienting for people with disabilities. And lastly, there's been a loss of certainty. So the effect is, for all of us, greater stress. It's just darn stressful. For people with disabilities, sometimes that can show up in a decompensation in their mental health outlook. So, and often persons with disabilities can't tell you that they're anxious. They can't tell you that they're down. What they do is they show you through their behavior. They might cry more often, they might sleep more often, they might act out more often. And of course, the isolation is so great for them because they're home with just their family and their guardians, that they often lose some of the skills that they had learned and achieved throughout their life. We started another program called Bridge to Home Services, where we provide safe and essential one-to-one support in people's homes who have disabilities. That was founded as a partnership between Bridge for Community Life and Dr. Madeline Gagnon, a leading pediatrician and general doctor for people with disabilities, youth and young adults with disabilities at Gillette Children's Specialty Clinic. She's the assistant medical director there, and she's also the infectious disease leader in that community. We've been greatly helped by her insight and her impact in guiding us in developing this home-based program so that people could get some relief from 24-hour caregiving as we went forth. So because we launched this safe and essential home care business, Bridge to Home Services, that was a great relief to those families whose young adults were facing, more severe mental health issues. And we also have virtual classes that we have for many, and some of those clients just weren't engaging with this medium, that we're doing. So we were so grateful that we could offer the family some amount of relief from 24-hour caregiving. And so that's been a really good thing about it as well. But I am so proud and so awed by all of the resilience that I've seen demonstrated in the clients and in our staff. None of us have lived through anything like this. I also see a lot of new skill development. We didn't have virtual classes before, and I didn't know how to go on a Zoom. I didn't know how to let anybody in from a waiting room. I didn't know how to share my screen. I have learned so many new skills, and so have the clients. I was watching a class the other day, and they are really navigating technology in ways that I couldn't 10 months ago. They're good at it. They're really, really good at it, and they're enthused, and they love the class activities. They get to pick the class topics. So I'm really, really, really pleased that they've developed new skills. They're resilient, and they have been able to adapt. Another really good skill for all of us is to be able to adapt to whatever our conditions are. I think one of the most joyful events was our Come and See Santa, which we traditionally do at the church. And Linda Redding, one of your congregants, gets the church beautifully decorated with all sorts of volunteers. And we have a robust, jolly Santa. And then we have Mrs. Claus, also known as Jody Branson, there. And they were able to do that all on Zoom this year. And I mean, even Mrs. Claus had cookies baking in her kitchen while you were visiting with Santa. It brought tears to my eyes because here was the community really stepping in. And of course, First Presbyterian has really stepped in for us on many, many levels. Because we pivoted with virtual, and we pivoted and started to go into home services, one-on-one safe and essential care inside the home. It got us thinking about a long-term goal that Bridge for Community Life had when it was just meeting once a month in the church fellowship hall. We had no programs, and we always had come back to housing. And now with this second company called Bridge to Home Services, we can now make some progress in starting to build a sustainable housing program long-term for our families whose young adults have disabilities. Our parents are aging, and 80% of our adults in our adult program, who range in age between 20 and 55, 80% of them are residing with their aging mother and father. We want to really help the families start to think about what would the next step in housing be for their adult son or daughter once mom and dad are no longer able to provide that. And that's been an extremely positive outcome out of the pandemic. I think the pandemic catalyzed us to really bite into that subject, because over 50% of our families want to have their child placed in housing outside of their home within the next 2 years. So there's a lot to do there. But the biggest obstacle to that is always finding great direct support professionals that can help support that person in whatever home they decide to live in. The home will look different for everyone, but what doesn't look different for everyone is everybody needs some support. Someone might need all day and all night support. Some people may just need a touch in the morning to make sure they've got their meds and their food and they're on their way to their job. But we do know support is needed. I want you to remind your congregants that even though we're not physically together, you are with us. And I feel your strength, and I feel your care, and I feel your love. Thank you.